Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive here on FP&A Done Right. I'm really excited for this one.
Same too.
Yeah, I think it's super important, and I think a lot of our listeners are going to get a lot out of it. I'm Ethan, by the way.
And I'm Emma.
And today we are tackling, I guess, really just like the foundation of every business out there.
Yeah.
Revenue and expense planning.
Yeah, and it's more than just like kind of knowing the ins and outs.
Yeah.
It's really what you use to make, really sound decisions for your business and to be able to adapt to anything that comes your way.
Absolutely. And you shared some really interesting stuff around Workday Adaptive Planning and also what Revelwood does working in this space, helping companies kind of get the most out of it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, so our mission today is really just to pull out the core insights of what makes, revenue and expense planning effective.
Right, and especially in today's world, things are changing so fast.
Exactly, yeah.
So this platform keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Workday Adaptive Planning. What is that? What's the elevator pitch?
Okay, so it's your cloud-based, FP&A hub.
Okay.
So it's basically a suite of tools that's really designed to help businesses plan, budget, forecast, and analyze their data, and it really goes deep into managing those expenses.
Oh, wow. So it's not just like tracking the income.
Yeah.
It's really involved in the managing the outgoings as well.
Exactly.
Right.
So it kind of offers you this end-to-end approach.
Okay.
So you can really get granular with, your expense plans cover, daily operational costs to, weigh out their forecasting expenditures. And it's all under one umbrella.
That sounds like a huge leap from wrestling with endless spreadsheets. I remember we were talking about one company where it was like budget review meetings would involve literally piles of paper.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, that's where this integrated financial planning framework comes in. You can kind of play around with, and your models, they're all connected. And so you can tweak one thing and then instantly see, how it plays out downstream.
Like that ripple effect. And you can see the impact all over the place.
Yeah, and the platform is also built for, flexible modeling.
Okay.
So we all know the business world doesn't stay stagnant.
Never.
Never. So you can adapt your models, the dimensions you track in those scenarios as conditions change.
Oh, that's huge because, you do all this planning and then things change and then you're like, well, now what?
Exactly. And it offers real-time insights and analytics. So, finance teams can work with different departments and have that real-time data to build accurate plans. So they're really shaping the future instead of just reporting on the past.
Right. So it's not like waiting, weeks.
And it also gives them that opportunity to, maybe address issues before they impact the bottom line instead of just after the fact.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a game changer. And looking ahead, I remember reading something about artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah. This is really where things get truly transformative.
Yeah.
Imagine you have AI that is acting as a financial planning co-pilot.
Yes.
So Workday Adaptive Planning uses that AI and machine learning to generate really fast and really accurate predictive forecasts.
Yeah.
This can give a business a really, really big advantage because it helps them anticipate trends and potential expense-related challenges. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier with the collaboration aspect, the platform is also built to improve communication and decision-making across different teams.
Right. So everyone is working with the same set of data
Yes.
and the same plan.
Like if the sales team launches some new initiative and that's going to impact, marketing spend,
Yeah.
it can all get factored in seamlessly.
Exactly. And they can run, different scenarios, like the what if scenarios.
Right, the what if.
Yeah. So for expenses, you can model the impact of reducing travel costs or, what happens if we delay a key hire.
Right.
And more importantly, they can see how those changes impact, revenue objectives.
Wow, so you can see top line and bottom line.
Yes, exactly. You can't, optimize one without understanding how it impacts the other.
Right, exactly.
And it also streamlines those fundamental planning processes, the budgeting, forecasting, and modeling. And it eliminates so many manual and error-prone tasks that, come with using spreadsheets.
So no more version control nightmares.
Hopefully no more.
With 15 different versions of the same spreadsheet floating around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
That's
yep,
the promise.
Yeah.
That is the promise. And it, integrates with other Workday modules if you're using them.
Okay.
As well as external sources. So you're really getting that single reliable source of truth.
Yeah.
And that's super important for accuracy and
Yeah.
consistency.
So all the pieces of the puzzle are finally connected.
Yes, finally.
That's great. So ultimately, it sounds like the biggest benefit of all these features is improved decision making.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have access to, accurate information on both revenue and expenses,
Yeah,
then leaders in the company can make better choices.
for sure. It empowers them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, so Workday Adaptive Planning sounds super powerful,
Right.
but having a really powerful tool doesn't guarantee success. So that's where, a partner like Revelwood comes in.
Right.
They specialize in helping finance organizations optimize their performance, and they have a deep partnership with Workday Adaptive Planning.
Yes, they do.
So they're really experts in helping companies use this platform
Exactly.
and tailor it to their needs.
To bring all that practical knowledge,
Yes.
to make it really work for the businesses.
Yeah, and they've worked with like a ton of different companies, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
What about that multi-site healthcare provider?
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that one.
So this was like a huge healthcare organization with lots of locations,
Oh, wow.
with a big workforce.
Yeah.
They were really struggling because they were using like completely manual processes for everything.
Oh, wow.
Budgeting, forecasting, reporting everything.
Everything.
Spreadsheets for everything. And so this was making it impossible for them to do any long-term budgeting or forecasting.
I can imagine trying to consolidate all of that information across so many sites on a spreadsheet.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
Yikes.
So Revelwood came in and built them a custom revenue expense model
Oh, wow.
within Workday Adaptive Planning. And the organization was then able to do like those really important what-if scenarios.
Okay.
So for example, like they could model the impact of reducing operating expenses
Uh-huh.
and see how that would affect their revenue goals.
Yeah. And
Well-
how they deliver services, in healthcare. That's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
So that immediate feedback,
Yeah,
that must have been huge for them.
huge. Yeah, and it also allowed them to see how changes at different sites
Right.
would impact, the overall revenue and expense structure.
Yeah.
So they got this like really granular visibility
Yeah.
to make strategic decisions about resources and planning.
So they went from like this reactive kind of approach to a much more proactive, data-driven approach.
Exactly.
that-
They got that financial foresight.
Yeah.
But they've also worked with like a totally different type of business, an online radio and podcasting company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So totally different challenges and priorities there.
Totally different. Yeah. So this company had a huge online audience
Okay.
and a ton of advertising inventory, but they were having a really hard time making money from it.
Okay.
Their systems were so outdated that it was really difficult to analyze, which vendors were performing well, or even like which content and stations were profitable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then forecasting was really difficult. They had to pull data from a bunch of different systems, like their ERP, a data warehouse, and of course spreadsheets. And they were also struggling to track like key performance indicators or KPIs.
Okay.
So like they didn't really know how their actual performance was measuring up to the plan.
Right. So they're sitting on this gold mine of data,
Yeah,
but they can't really use it.
right. And so Revelwood came in and they implemented Workday Adaptive Planning.
Okay.
And so this gave them, real-time rolling forecasts so they could make data-driven decisions about their advertising and stuff.
Wow.
And really importantly, they integrated Workday Adaptive Planning with their NetSuite ERP.
Oh, nice. So that integration must have been a huge help.
Oh, it streamlined everything.
Yeah.
And now they can track their vendor expenses really easily.
Yeah, that's so important in advertising.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So now their finance team doesn't have to spend so much time like collecting data and manipulating it.
Right.
They can focus on the analysis.
Yeah, the high value stuff.
Yes.
Exactly. So it sounds like across these two very different industries, the benefit is really the same. They have more control, visibility, and, actionable insights into their financials.
Yeah, that's the common thread.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't matter if it's healthcare or media.
Yeah.
A modern FP&A tool like Workday Adaptive Planning, when it's implemented correctly by experts like Revelwood,
Yes.
it gives companies that essential control over their revenue and expenses.
Exactly. And they can really understand what's driving their business
Yeah.
and make good decisions to meet their goals.
So it's like having a clear, real-time understanding of your financial picture.
Yeah, exactly.
So to kind of like wrap things up, effective revenue and expense planning is super important.
It's essential.
Yeah, especially for companies that want to, not just survive,
Right.
but actually do really well.
Thrive.
Yeah, thrive in today's world.
Yeah.
And as we saw with Workday Adaptive Planning and Revelwood,
Yeah.
modern tools and, expert guidance can give companies a big advantage.
A big advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you're thinking about your own business and the future of your business,
Yes.
think about this. How could a more integrated, an insightful approach to revenue and expense planning really, unlock those possibilities.
And make things more efficient.
Yeah, and lead to better outcomes.
For sure.
So if you want to learn more about how Revelwood helps companies do this, go to their website.
You can visit them at www.revelwood.com.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into revenue and expense planning.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.